The Last Chance. Eli Matthews sat alone in his apartment, staring at a photograph of his younger self. The picture, taken just before his knee injury ended his professional football career, seemed like it belonged to a different person. A smiling, confident young man in a team uniform, holding a championship trophy. It was a reminder of a dream he had once held, of stadiums, crowds, and a future that was now nothing more than a fading memory. His career had ended abruptly at 26. One torn ligament, one bad decision, and just like that, the fame and fortune slipped through his fingers. He tried to stay involved in sports, offering motivational speeches here and there, but it never felt the same. And without the rush of competition, the days seemed long and the nights even longer. Now, he worked a desk job in an office that felt more like a cage, his passion for sports long since extinguished. Then one rainy afternoon, Eli got a call that would change everything. "Hey, Eli, it's Coach Thompson. I know it's been a while, but I need your help," the voice on the other end said. Coach Thompson, the old football coach from his high school days, the man who had first seen potential in him, the one who had always believed Eli was capable of more than just talent, the man who, Eli thought, had probably forgotten him by now. "I'm coaching a youth team now," Coach continued, "and, well, we haven't won a game in 2 seasons. The kids are losing hope, and I think we're about to lose a whole program if something doesn't change. I know it's a lot to ask, but I think you could help them." Eli froze. A youth team? He hadn't thought about coaching, hadn't thought about football at all in years. He had no idea if he even had the energy for something like that. Yet, as he looked around his quiet apartment, the thought of a new challenge began to stir something inside him. "Coach, I don't know. I'm not sure I'm the right person for this." "Nonsense," Coach Thompson replied, his voice filled with conviction. "You've been through the highs and the lows. You know what it's like to fall and rise again. These kids need someone who understands that." Eli hesitated. He had been stuck in a rut for so long, but something inside him told him this was the right thing to do. Maybe, just maybe, this was his second chance. "I'll do it," Eli said, a quiet determination in his voice. The first practice was nothing like he had expected. The kids were full of energy but lacked focus. They fumbled the ball, missed tackles, and laughed off mistakes as if the game didn't matter at all. Eli watched from the sidelines, unsure of how to approach them. They were nothing like the fierce competitors he'd known, and his frustration began to bubble to the surface. Coach Thompson saw the look in his eyes and pulled him aside. "It's not about the wins right now. It's about teaching them how to fight through the hard moments. Show them that failure isn't the end. It's the beginning of something better. These kids need to believe they can overcome." Eli took a deep breath. He wasn't here to relive his glory days. He was here to help these kids find their own path. So he started small. Instead of focusing on the big plays, he encouraged them to celebrate the little victories, catching the ball, making a solid pass, even just showing up with a positive attitude. Slowly, the team started to change. They began to trust each other more, communicate better, and push themselves harder. Weeks went by, and the team improved game by game. They still weren't winning, but the spirit had shifted. The kids believed in themselves. They believed in each other. And most importantly, they believed that their coach, Eli, wasn't just someone who had once been great. He was someone who had fought, fallen, and gotten back up again. One cold Saturday afternoon, they found themselves in the final game of the season. It was the last chance to make something of this season, to prove to themselves they weren't just a group of kids who couldn't win. The opposing team was bigger, faster, and more experienced. But Eli had taught his players one thing: never give up, no matter how impossible it seemed. The game was intense. The other team scored first, then again. But Eli's team kept fighting, inch by inch, play by play. They were behind, but they weren't out. With only seconds left on the clock, they were down by 6 points. One last play, one last chance. Eli called a timeout. The players huddled around him, eyes wide with uncertainty. "Listen," Eli said, his voice steady. "You've already done the hardest part. You've kept going when you could have quit. Now it's time to finish what we started. Play for each other. Play like it's your last chance, because it is." The final play was chaotic. The ball snapped, and the quarterback, a kid named Sam, threw it long to the wide receiver, Mia. The ball wobbled in the air, and for a moment, everything seemed to slow down. Mia stretched, fingers grazing the ball. Then she caught it. Touchdown! The crowd erupted. They had won. Not just the game, but the season. Eli stood on the sideline, watching the kids celebrate, a lump forming in his throat. He had come here to help them, but in the end, they had helped him rediscover something he thought was lost forever, the feeling of fighting for something greater than yourself. As the players cheered and hugged, Eli couldn't help but smile. Sometimes, the last chance was the one that mattered the most.